South Korea is famous for K-pop, K-dramas, and delicious food. But there's another K phenomenon that's often overlooked: the K presidential curse. Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Nara Kim. Almost every president in South Korea's history has ended in disgrace, impeachment, or something even worse. It's like living in the Blue House comes with a one-way ticket to disaster. Lee Seung-man was South Korea's first president and played a key role in the establishment of the Republic of Korea, especially during the Korean War. However, his presidency turned into a dictatorship. He amended the constitution to extend his rule and faced massive public outrage for election fraud. Amid student protests, Lee was forced to resign in 1960. He fled to Hawaii, where he lived in exile until his death in 1965. Yoon Bo-sun was a symbolic president during South Korea's fragile early democracy. Power was really in the hands of the military, and his presidency lasted only 2 years before it was abruptly cut short when Park Chung-hee, a military leader, staged a coup in 1961. Park Chung-hee transformed South Korea's economy, turning it into an industrial powerhouse. Despite the economic boom, he ruled with an iron fist, curbing democracy and extending his rule through force. In 1979, Park was assassinated by his own intelligence chief during a dinner. Choi Kyu-ha had no real power, but served as a transitional figure after Park's assassination. Choi's presidency was short-lived, with the military controlling the government. He was forced to resign after just 8 months, following a coup by Chun Doo-hwan. Chun Doo-hwan is credited with stabilizing South Korea politically after the chaos of the 1970s, though through military rule. He is infamously remembered for the Gwangju massacre, where hundreds of pro-democracy protesters were killed under his orders. Chun was sentenced to death for his role in the massacre, though his sentence was commuted to life in prison. He was pardoned in 1997. Roh Tae-woo played a major role in South Korea's peaceful transition to democracy and hosted the 1988 Seoul Olympics. Despite his democratic credentials, Roh was involved in corruption and the military coup that brought him to power. He was convicted of corruption and sentenced to 17 years in prison, but was later pardoned. Kim Young-sam was South Korea's first civilian president after decades of military rule, and he launched significant anti-corruption campaigns. Kim's presidency is often criticized for mishandling the 1997 Asian financial crisis, which hurt the economy. Kim avoided prison, but his presidency left a mixed legacy due to economic turmoil. Kim Dae-jung is remembered for his Nobel Peace Prize winning Sunshine Policy towards North Korea, aiming for peaceful engagement. While his policies are celebrated, some criticize them for not achieving lasting peace. Kim passed away in 2009, leaving behind a mixed legacy, but no scandals during his presidency. Roh Moo-hyun was a champion of democracy and reform, and his presidency brought the focus on fighting corruption. Roh's family faced corruption allegations, which led to a scandal. Tragically, Roh took his own life in 2009, under pressure from corruption investigations. Lee Myung-bak, a former CEO, led South Korea through a period of economic growth. Lee was convicted of embezzling tens of millions of US dollars and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. He was jailed in 2018 for corruption, but was later pardoned and released. The daughter of former President Park Chung-hee, Park Geun-hye was South Korea's first female president. She focused on economic growth and foreign policy. Park's presidency ended in a massive corruption scandal involving her close confidant, Choi Soon-sil. Park was impeached and sentenced to 25 years in prison for her role in the scandal. Moon Jae-in focused on North Korea diplomacy and anti-corruption efforts, improving South Korea's global standing. Moon faced criticism for handling domestic issues such as housing and unemployment. Moon left office without major scandal, maintaining a relatively clean record. As a former prosecutor, Yoon Suk-yeol has focused on tackling corruption, gaining attention for his efforts. Yoon's presidency is still in its early stages, and it remains to be seen how his leadership will unfold. Will Yoon break the curse or fall victim to it? From coup to corruption scandals, South Korea's presidents have often faced turbulent ends. So, what does this say about the South Korean political system? Many believe this pattern reflects deep-rooted issues in South Korea's political culture, including authoritarian legacies and a lack of accountability. Will the key presidential curse ever be broken? Only time will tell.